The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, hi everybody. Nice to see you all. We have the important Aries full moon before us. This will occur at 2:43 and 58 seconds a.m. on the 18th of April, and that will be GMT. So we're a good 24 hours or so before the actual full moon. We are beginning the higher interlude with this Aries energy, and we can say that in a way it does not even stop at the Gemini energy, but continues all the way until the Cancer full moon, or at least until the summer solstice in the north. This is a very potent sign. We have extraordinary events occurring in the world at this time. This is just the beginning, really. We are living in a time that has been foreseen for millions of years and which appears in biblical prophecy. It's called a time of testing and of tribulation, and it is that which prepares humanity and the planet for the externalization of the hierarchy and the reappearance of the Christ, the greatest of all planetary events occurring at this time. So we need great courage, we need fortitude, we need fearlessness. All of these are Aries virtues. As we see from the Joffre diagram, it certainly emphasizes the Martian aspect of Aries. But over here in the banner for Aries, we have not only Mars as the orthodox or exoteric ruler, but Mercury in its color yellow as the esoteric ruler, which can be used and applied by people who are making application to soul life. And we have Uranus in the color violet, but also expressing the red energy of the first ray, not only the seventh ray. And this is the home of electric fire and leads the soul onto the final burning ground. Well, really, what is the final burning ground? At least final for the human race, liberating us from the need for further incarnation at the fourth initiation. We have the courageous aspect of Aries, the torch bearer. There's a lot of the sixth ray here, but there is essentially a kind of blindness at first, because there is the seeking of form without understanding what form will bring. Let form again be sought. It's interesting, the justice is blind in the opposite sign Libra, and there's a kind of blindness here in Aries as well. In the distance we see the magician who is connecting heaven and earth, and this certainly emphasizes the seventh ray aspect of Aries, which relates spirit and matter. Always the depth of matter is on fire in respect to Aries. I suppose the Agni Chaitans are emphasized here. We have volcanic action and a connection as well with the fiery planet Vulcan, even though it is not one of the rulers. It is a destructive sign, but it is destructive so that the new may appear. A way may be cleared for the new. And now that Uranus has entered the sign Aries, the major first ray monadic planet entering that sign which carries more first ray than any other constellation at this time, we have everything within us crying out for that which is new and yet really essentially archetypal. From the world of being, Aries descends, bringing the archetype which Uranus rules, and the destruction that occurs under Aries is because the archetype from the world of being seeks to replace the conditions in the world of becoming. We have here an image from Dwayne Carpenter, which is very beautiful. It shows that great central light which Aries represents. This can represent the monad, the spirit. It can represent the jewel in the lotus. We notice that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rays. I don't know whether this is deliberate on the part of Dwayne, but it certainly shows the possibility of completeness and coming around again to the one. The spiral is suggested in the curls of the Aries horns. And I think here we have as well the idea of the spiral suggested. As the spirit descends into matter, it does so in a spiral involutionary manner, and when it reascends, it does so again in the spiral. Dwayne's image shows us the colors red and the color violet, the first ray color and the seventh ray color. We have both the sphere and the oval suggested. The sphere is the shape of perfection, and the oval is in the world of becoming, the approximation to the sphere. We have something really in the center that looks very much like the center of man within his causal body. So this is the point of radiation from which it all begins. And when we have radiatory energy, which we are all trying to achieve from our egoic lotus and especially from the jewel in the lotus, it is as if Aries stands at the center of this radiation, this rush of outgoing force which somehow yet embodies the plan and embodies the purpose. The third image that I would like to show here, and some of you have received this, is the very beautiful image from Francis Donald. And you will see here, I'm going to read what he has to say, but you will see in this image the great supercosmic sphere. You will see the monad at the base of this more universal sphere, and you will see it descending toward an image which suggests, I think, the solar angel. It's very beautiful. The solar angel and perhaps these feathers here in the many different colors, I'll show you a more enlarged symbol, can suggest the petals of the egoic lotus. The geometric qualities surrounding the head of the angel are reflected in the same surrounding the head of the man. So you have all three aspects here. You have the spirit aspect, you have the soul aspect, which is both angelic and yet a structure on the higher mental plane, and you have the man, and this all sparkles with the sense of birth. Okay, I hope you can hear me. I'm getting a signal that the sound may be a little bit degraded. I hope that is not the case. We'll do our best. The sense of the earth is here, and the different kinds of land masses that are found in the north. The north is the place of spirit, one of the places of the midnight sun where we can symbolically meet the initiatory sun at the midnight hour. Let us see what Francis has said. I'm going to also enlarge this image here, as you see how beautiful it is. And we can descend with it partially at least, both going down and going up. You see the beauty of the solar angel here, alive geometrically both in her head and heart. And this is the aspect of the dress, the clothing, the robe, which can mean the egoic lotus. And I don't have any more of it shown in that way. I'll go back to the original. Now what Francis says, a word goes forth from out the central point of the cardinal cross. This, as we know, is the cross of spirit. That word takes the form of a winged cosmic sphere, which I think we see here. The winged cosmic sphere, the rarefied embodiment of a monad expressing the will to incarnate. And here we have the monad, and in a way also possibly the cardinal cross, with the spirit or the being aspect at the very center. The soul, mirroring that noumenal form, projects its own mental substance into phenomenal appearance. This is the highest aspect of the threefold outer form created, so that the soul might once again enter the realm of time and space and thereby continue its journey on the path of return. So I think we see that this soul figure is casting down its rays and taking incarnation in the embodiment of a human being. And here is the quotation from H.P. Blavatsky: "Matter is the vehicle for the manifestation of soul on this plane of existence, and soul is the vehicle on a higher plane of for the manifestation of spirit. And these three are a trinity synthesized by life, which pervades them all." From The Secret Doctrine, Volume 1, page 80. But Francis is also offering not only the descending image, but also the ascending image. He says there is another way to read this image. After eons of incarnations, the soul-infused personality has built its antakarana and now stands free of the three worlds of human endeavor. The soul responds and prepares to draw its shadow back into itself. The divine intermediary is no longer required. So obviously this is before the soul has disappeared. From this perspective, it is in the act of drawing the wanderer back to itself. The Son of God, who is the Son of Mind, dies. The veil of the temple is rent in twain from the top to the bottom. The fourth initiation is passed, and there then comes the revelation of the Father. And we see how the image beautifully portrays both possibilities. Francis has said that you are all welcome to this image and that he can be contacted. I'll try to send you his email if you would like the image, and I'll give him the list so that he can send it to you. So in these images there is also a kind of geometry which is operative, and Francis describes the geometry underlying this particular image. Here the soul uses, he calls, the Fibonacci spiral, a function of the golden ratio, as a tool to open a passage into the realm of time and space, as we see below. You can see here how a man's mental sheath being created is created. A web of spirals emanates from the aura of the soul and finds resonance in its reflection below. So we see the reflection of the lower with the higher. And now we will say just a few things. There are a few quotations from Aries which we can bear in mind. The great bear, of course, is in this image, as you see. And very interestingly, you see the bear here, the Big Dipper. And this particular star, very close to the emanating point, is the first ray star, sometimes called Al-Qaid or Bennett Nash. So the first ray radiation is definitely there. Much more could be said about this, and I'm sure Francis could elaborate these possibilities. But let us quote the Tibetan now in this case. The Aries is, as might be expected, closely connected with the Great Bear, but peculiarly so with one of the stars called the Pointers. And the particular star connected with Aries is this one, where my little cursor is moving around. It's the sixth star. This star apparently carries the sixth ray, but every being has more than one ray. We can wonder whether it carries the first as well. The Pointers. These point to the pole star, which is at this time a major star of direction. Direction, will, purpose, and plan are all connected with the solar logos and with his evolutionary undertakings in connection with the many lives manifesting in the vehicle of expression which we call the solar system. All these respond to the influences of the first ray, which is the energy of divine embodied will, esoterically described as, and I love this, unavoidable directed purpose. We can oftentimes find the Aries energy representing exactly that. Aries is one of the constellations of the cardinal cross, the Tibetan tells us, the cross of the heavens. This is the cross of God the Father, and therefore of the incarnating monad. It is the expression of the will or power as it expresses itself through the great creative process. The will to create is particularly connected with the sign Aries, just as the will to fulfillment is with Leo, and the will that conquers death is with Capricorn. The keynotes of the sign are very interesting. They are 4 in number, and there are 4 injunctions here. Express the will to be and do. Both the first aspect and the third aspect are found here. Aries is a sign of great activity. It is connected with the will to create. The will to love is not mentioned here, but as Aries becomes the scapegoat in many respects, the energy of love is learned, and a willing sacrifice is given. So that's the first one, express the will to be and do. The second, unfold the power to manifest. We remember that Aries connects the highest and the lowest, the first and seventh rays, from the divine idea, where there is a birthplace of ideas, all the way through into seventh ray manifestation in perfectly geometric order. Then the third, which many will recognize under Mars, enter into battle for the Lord. The Lord is the archetype. The Lord is the highest will or purpose. And in order for that will or purpose to manifest on the lower planes, oftentimes a battle with circumstance and conditions must take place. Hopefully it is a wise battle. And then finally, number 4, arrive at unity through effort. So here we have the theme of harmony through conflict. The attempt to create a kind of oneness is with us, Aries being the first sign, but without the expenditure of effort under Mars and under the fourth ray of harmony through conflict through its esoteric ruler Mercury, that unity is not achieved. So the Tibetan summarizes this by calling it creation, being, activity, strife, and synthesis. And probably it would serve all of us to boil down each sign into a few key words. The Tibetan doesn't do this for every sign. He gives key notes, but we need key words which will help us focus on the power of this the power of the particular sign. So these are the nature, says the Tibetan, of the Lord of the first constellation, and enable him to influence our planet to these results. Well, immediately we understand that there are lords of constellations. These asterisms, these aggregations of stars in the sky, are not unrelated. They are not purely the result of the angle from which man may see them. They have a relationship with each other, and they are informed by a great being who is greater than a solar logos. He is, in fact, the cosmic logos if he informs the various stars. The keynotes: let form again be sought. So there is the plunge into matter, often a thoughtless plunge under the influence of desire, and then for the aspirant, the disciple, and especially the initiate, I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. So that is the imagery, and occasionally as we're going through our meditation, although I suppose most of us will have our eyes closed, I will flash certain of these images onto our screen. Here is our meditation. We are in the stage of preparation. We are still 24 hours before the actual day of safeguarding, the day of the full moon. I like to think of this as 12 hours before the full moon and 12 hours after as the day of safeguarding. So technically we are in the day of dedication, which has been preceded by the day of aspiration and the day of confidence. And as we hold these energies and allow them to build and augment in our individual and group nature, we will come to days of distribution where registration is the first day following the day of safeguarding, the sense of expectancy, and followed by belief. So we allow the brain consciousness to really register what we may have touched subjectively and may not have fully registered, even though it's there within us. Then we have this anticipation, which the astral nature can give, as we anticipate that the world can become more archetypally aligned than it is at present. And then we have that conviction, that confirmation, belief, as is the final result. So that puts the stamp on the entire 7-day process. And I hope that all of you, or many of you, have been engaging in this process and are really willing to do it for 7 days, keeping it at least in your mind, perhaps a little bit on the back burner as you go through many other things, but staying in these energies. Okay, then, I think that we are ready for our meditation. I realize, of course, that, these are long meditations, but we have the opportunity to come en rapport with the energies which we usually simply discuss cognitively. It's one thing to know about something, and it's another thing to experience the presence of particular energies which are now augmenting at this time, and which we as individuals and a group can, I think, begin to touch. Okay, everybody. So, we withdraw our consciousness from the personality and its vehicles, and we enter deeply into the presence of the soul. These vehicles are our instrument, but we detach our being consciousness from them. from the outer form, from the astral vehicle, from the lower mind, and we find ourselves established as if within the soul field of light, love, and spiritual power, established as the soul in incarnation, merging, at least imaginatively, with the soul on its own plane. And as we do this, the outer world fades away, and a world of light, of love and power emerges before us. And we are finding our truer identity. And we feel ourselves, at least imaginatively, as if within the center of our causal body, our egoic lotus. And with that, we begin to merge ourselves into a deep sense of group soul. Everywhere that we are in this world, many places, we are one consciousness, many egoic lotuses, which are merging as if they are one egoic lotus. We are together in consciousness. We are present to each other. There is no space. We are all here. And it is all the same time now. And we reach further still from our sense of group soul and group presence out to include the members of the new group of world servers and the men and women of goodwill, the lights that are found all over the world, attempting to illumine their surroundings, to help transmute and transform their surroundings. We reach out to them, finding them in their egoic lotus, in their causal body. We can visualize the globe and the many of them in all the different countries, continents, and we are together with them. And we take it even further. We visualize this one large group soul of the new group of world servers and the men and women of goodwill, merging into the one soul of humanity, none excluded. No matter what the personality demonstration may be, the soul is good, the soul is real, and we commune as souls with all human beings, whether they are in incarnation or out of incarnation, merging in the one soul of humanity. The one consciousness, There is no my soul or thy soul, only the soul. Naught is but me, the one soul. We are together. And we will confirm this sense of the one soul of humanity, quietly sounding the Om on the second ray notes. And now we build up a point of group tension. There is the group mental unit, but each one of us has a mental unit which we will strengthen by the will aspect of the soul. The will to initiate, first ray. The will to unify, second ray. The will to evolve, third ray. The will to harmonize, fourth ray. The will to act, fifth ray. The will to cause, sixth ray. The will to express, seventh ray. We imagine that the mental point of concentration of each of us as individuals is fed by the will aspect of our soul. We strengthen the point of tension in the stage of intention as we prepare to affirm the Antakarana. And let us imagine a group point of tension at the mental unit of the group, especially fed by the will to unify of the second ray. From this potent point of tension, we gather up all the lower energies of the group personality, all the etheric physical energies sublimated and rising, the energies of aspiration, all being drawn into this fortified mental unit of the group. And now, from this point of tension, and our individual point of tension within it, we will imagine first, individually, the dual-colored individual Antakarana or rainbow bridge, consisting of the two colors of our soul and personality ray. Now we can imagine this vertically if we will. That's one way to do it, or as if perhaps we are as triangulated on the periphery of a sphere with the spiritual triad moving towards the center of the sphere and the monad at the very center, however you wish to do this, whether vertically or spherically. The two colors of our soul ray and personality ray, red for the first ray, indigo second, green third, yellow fourth, orange fifth, silvery rose or light blue the sixth, violet 7th. These colors can apply to both the soul ray or the personality ray. And we can visualize the many, many colored antakaranas of the group as if forming a cone leading upward conically toward the blue-white diamond of the monad of Shambhala, or if we use the sphere, the blue-white diamond is in the center, and the antakaranas move through the monastic permanent atom, Buddhic permanent atom, atmic permanent atom, to the very center of the brilliant blue-white spirit. And we are going to project a line of vivid, brilliant light across the multiple rainbow bridges toward the blue-white diamond. And we will use the second ray word of power, I see the greatest light. The Om will sound, and you can think to yourself as you project towards the Spirit, I see the greatest light. The group word of power in this case. I see the greatest light. And so it is as if, via the group Antakarana, composed of all the many rainbow bridges, the group is connected to its higher nature. And the mind of God, the love of God, the will of God, and the Spirit itself are as if touched. And we hold that alignment all the way through our meditation. The funnel, the cone, the sphere, the contact with the higher, the interior, the deepest aspects of ourselves. And in the midst of this alignment, we seek to sense the hierarchy of illumined souls, the society of developed minds, organized and illumined minds, the great heart center of our planet with all the 7 rays and all the 7 ashrams, And it is as if through our imagination we can attune as a group to their presence, the presence of the Great White Brotherhood. The 7 ashrams and the eventual 49 sub-ashrams, or the 7 and the 42. And these great beings, who are the centers of their ashrams, are as if present. We touch their non-local presence. And we feel toward them, with the feeling of the heart, a great gratitude as we offer our salutations, our solidarity with, our intention to stand with these brothers, affirming our readiness, our willingness to serve according to the plans and purpose that they are seeking under the impress of the Christ and Sanat Kumara to see enacted. And so first of all we attune with the great Lord imaginatively, with the leader of the hierarchy, the head of the hierarchy, the great Lord Maitreya. We do this as a group. And we offer our salutations to the Lord Maitreya. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all masters, the teacher alike of angels and of men. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we work most closely. We will offer our salutations to the Master Moria on the red note. Salutations to the Master Moria, the head of all esoteric schools and organizations. Salutations to the Master Kutumi, whose ashram is preparing above all for the reappearance of the Christ, he himself the Christ of the age of Capricorn, 2300 years in the future. Salutations to the Master Jwal, who has prepared the books we use and is preparing aspirants for initiation. And we offer our salutations to our Master as we conceive him to be, whether one of the three masters mentioned or another ashram. And finally, we offer our salutations to the spiritual hierarchy of the planet as a whole, expressing our solidarity with hierarchy, our intention to cooperate and serve. And preserving this alignment with the Great Ones, we extend our imagination still further toward Shambhala, toward the center where the will of God is known, and with deepest reverence and identified as a group soul, we seek to attune to the presence of Sanat Kumara, the Lord of the world, the great teacher, the head of the one fundamental school of occultism in Shambhala. We attempt as a group, visualizing the blue-white diamond, to attune with the Most High. With his purpose, with his will, and as a group, a long, silent Om, as we imagine this worldwide group imbued with his energy, a long, silent Om. And we hold this alignment. Under purpose, under will. Our group intention to serve firm. Into Shambhala pour the energies of the times under the law of assembly. And they are distributed from Shambhala to all responsive men and women, aspirants, disciples, groups. We can receive and we can distribute. We will visualize the meditating group as a point of brilliant light, as if we are all fused in this point of brilliance. We are points of being consciousness, fused in one point. And we take our place upon the golden pathway, the golden path which leads to the center of a sun and to the indigo center of that sun, where we would expect to find the energy of the Master Decay, the path is shortening, retracting towards the center. The golden pathway speeds towards the center, towards the indigo center. And at last is absorbed. We are absorbed within this indigo center and we feel the indigo energy. And we imagine the presence of the teacher, we find his consciousness. We seek to be imbued by that consciousness, which is vast. As we begin to open ourselves to the astrological, constellational, planetary ray energies which are potent at this time, which we seek to absorb as a group and transmit as a group. And so we begin by, as a unit, not as individuals, but as one fused unit of being consciousness. We imaginatively raise that consciousness towards the planetary rulers of Aries, Mars, the exoteric ruler, conveying the fortitude and the will to fight for a high ideal. And you can visualize the red Mars glyph. And Mercury, the esoteric ruler, conveying the power to apprehend the archetypal idea and destroy illusion through a fiery mental process. The yellow of Mercury, Mercury in our midst, the destroyer of illusion. And finally, we will turn our attention to Uranus, the hierarchical ruler, conveying the electric fire of pure will for the ultimate vivification of the entire human energy system. through its link to the world of being. And this goes for all humanity. All humanity. The three of them we will work with: Mars, Uranus, Mars, Mercury, and Uranus, and see if we can enter into the presence of these planetary lords and the devas which convey them, because we cannot touch the Lord, of course, per se, but the continuity of energy can be touched, and the Devic conduit can be touched, and we can feel the presence of these great planetary lords through these Devic transformers. So first then to Mars, the planet of all warriors, the school for destroyers, having so much of the sixth ray, but of the first as well, and also the fifth ray of science. We need, as we attune with the warrior god, the spiritual courage, individually and as a group, the undying fiery aspiration for fusion with divinity, and for the successful manifestation of the divine ideal embodied in the divine plan and purpose. We attune with Mars, the Lord of the planet Mars, and his Devic representatives, the red energy, which we breathe in as a group. And feel the strength of it. The fortitude we need to live as disciples through this time of testing. And we open our consciousness, we open our energy system to the flow of this stream of Martian energy. The red planet, the student of our planetary logos, and we seek to realize the areas in which we and our groups are most in need of these Martian qualities. Think, where are these qualities needed in your own nature, in those you associate with, in those you seek to help? Where are these energies needed? Mars, the great mobilizer, the awakener of the needed energies, going forth against the opposition within and without. And we will transmit through our imagination and attunement with the red glyph of Mars and on its red note that energy towards those who need it, seeing as we sound the Om on the red note, see the changes that can happen as the Martian energy fortifies those who need it. And perhaps under its influence the men and women of goodwill can be mobilized and stand with courage and with fortitude in these very trying times. And may we stand with them. And we will release for a moment the Martian energy. And we will visualize the planet Mercury, the yellow planet, the glyph of the planet Mercury, as we see it here. A great receiver of transcendental energies, rising above the cross. And it is as if yellow Mercury, brilliant yellow, conveying the fourth ray, but also the third and the fifth, all of them associated with yellow in one way or another, is in our very midst, this planet of transcendental mind, stimulating our intuitive understanding as it touches the Buddhic plane and higher, even the Atmic plane. Our intuitive understanding of imminent developments within the precipitating divine plan. The ideas in the mind of God come forth through the mediation of Mercury. The entire spiritual triad, in a way, ruled by Mercury. The Ajna center connecting to the triad when it is ruled by Mercury in more developed phases. And we seek to understand the manner in which Mercury supports the role of Aries as the birthplace of ideas. And we will ponder together on Mercury in relation to Aries as the transmitter of the new ideas, the archetypal ideas, the ideas from the world of being which are meant to enter the world of becoming, the bridge between the archetypal worlds and the worlds of form and of becoming. We ponder Mercury. A great etheric substitution can occur under Mercury, the higher ethers substituting for the lower, vitalizing all. There is nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. We can be alive with this scintillating energy of Mercury. Let us attempt to feel it, the Mercurian stream, passing into each of us individually and into our group and groups. We breathe in this yellow light, yellow vivifying light, etherically enlivening light, mentally enlivening, intuitively enlivening. And we feel our group vivified by this energy. Where, we may ask, are we individually and our group and groups, where are they most in need of the Mercurian energy? Let us ponder, where is humanity most in need? We will transmit the Mercurian energy with its 3 rays, 4, 5, and 3. We will transmit, but how can it be used? And filled with this Mercurian energy and visualizing its target, the place where it is needed, we will sound the transmitting note on the Buddhic note E, the yellow note, and visualize as we sound the Om the transmission of the Mercurian energy, making the changes needed. Let Mercury speed the group upon the upward way, as we are told in Rule 12 for disciples and initiates. Higher than Venus, older than Venus, the bringer of illumination from the triad. May the archetypes descend into our mind as Mercury is related to Aries. Now, releasing Mercury, we turn to Uranus, the planet of the violet force, at least through its soul. And what will it be through its monad? What will that color be? When the first ray monad is revealed to those of us who are here on earth with its first ray monad. The great antenna, the higher octave of Mercury, the transformer of Mars, the magical Uranus, we ponder, the great father in all mythology, older even than Saturn, who plays the role of the father figure, but Uranos is all space, the home of electric fire with its first-ray monad, bestowing inspiration, the breathing in of divinity, of the monad, of the spirit, inspiration for the total transformation and renewal of the individual and group personality, and the radiation of the soul, the planet of all rays, in a way centering in the jewel in the lotus, with Vulcan radiating forth, renewing us in our lower form, in our group form, renewing us in our soul, in our group soul, ever the bringer of the new. The archetypal is the new. Uranus, the hierarchical first-ray ruler of first-ray Aries, giving us the power and the courage to tread the final liberating burning ground, which we cannot individually yet approach, nor can we as a group, but we can envision. And thus this planet of simultaneity, this planet of the point, helping us overcome the illusion of time and space, establishing in our consciousness the reality of the synthesis that is. The most powerful of all planets, who yet bows his polar head towards the sun. We visualize this planet in our midst. It has violet, perhaps it has electric blue, as sometimes blue is also associated with the first ray. Uranus of the starry heavens in our midst, the transmitter of the power of all the creative hierarchies. Bringing life, the life energy. All aspects of ourselves, from the cellular level through all atoms of all levels, made to feel scintillatingly alive. We feel the flow of Uranus, its electric power. And we seek as a group to learn to withstand it, so that we shall not be shattered by the touch of the finger of God. We can bear the electric fire, especially as it comes forth when Uranus is related to Aries. And where, we ask, as we look at ourselves and the world, where is this Uranian energy needed? Let us ponder. Let us imagine where it is needed, where we will direct it. This is a sorely needed planet. If there is to be the transformation, the renovation, the new patterns, if the old patterns are to be destroyed with the help of Pluto, what will take their place? And how can it, the new, come without needless destruction? So now together we shall direct on the violet note, which we will use as B. We shall direct the transformational, regenerating power of Uranus to the place that we conceive. The new must emerge. Better conditions must arise. And we enter an age in which Uranus will be very powerful. And so now, through Mars, through Mercury, through Uranus, we have attuned, we have absorbed, we have transmitted, and we raise our consciousness still higher, accompanied as if by the consciousness of Master DK, that master of solar, systemic, and cosmic energies, he who knows more of them than any other master, accompanied by his consciousness, we rise as if towards the great blue Logos, and the Devic streams which allow us to attune with this heart of love of the cosmic Logos, the great second ray of love wisdom, pouring through all planets, through Shambhala, through all monads and souls, through every personality, every lunar vehicle, every cell, the great God of love, wisdom. We as if breathe in the great blue of the blue Logos. And feel the Buddhic energy everywhere stimulated throughout his expansive solar system and on his subtler cosmic planes which hold his vehicles. The great blue, the great love, wisdom, energy. Into our heart, into the heart and the head, into the causal body, into the monad. We breathe it in, and we sound on the note of the second ray of the blue note, G. And we feel the unity in which he holds his solar system and all of us, whose true home as monads is within the sun. The heart of the sun, the central spiritual sun, the all-pervading Logos, to whom we return at the solar systemic day be with us. Continuing our alignment in the presence of the consciousness of the Master DK, we focus our imagination toward Aries, the constellation Aries, the Lord of the constellation Aries, radiating its peculiar quality of light, the light of life itself, the dim point of light found at the center of the cycle of manifestation, faint and flickering. It is the searchlight of the Logos, seeking that which can be used for divine expression. The light of life itself. Life, of which DK tells us we know nothing. And yet, in our imagination, we may seek to attune the light of life itself. And we open ourselves to the feel of this potent energy carrying the first and seventh ray, but especially the first. These rays pouring through the rulers, Uranus, Mercury, Mars, reaching us by the Davic flows, imbuing us, imbuing the group, fortifying the group. Master Moria's day is in Aries. Moria Remembrance Day, the 24th of March. The love of fire. The forces of restoration can pour down through Aries. The plan can be restored upon Earth. The archetypes can be realized via Aries and Uranus. The world of being can become real to us, and we can become representatives of this world of being, changing the world of becoming. The energy we thought we did not have can be summoned from spirit, from the first ray, from Aries, and we can do what we thought we could not do. And as a group we must, so serious are the times. In the group is strength. And as Master Moria, strongly conditioned by Aries, said, we will shout it into the ears of the faint-hearted. Hierarchy. So now we turn our attention to this great word of initiatic power, and we ponder together, I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. Is it only systemic mind? Why not cosmic mind? Is it only the I of the personality? Why not the I of the monad? I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. The greater I comes forth. The I that immerses itself in every incarnation. And the monad as the I of the planetary logos, I come forth. Until the monad rules at the center of the egoic lotus on the plane of mind, feel the energy of pure being which is revealed in Aries. Positive to all circumstance, positive to any lower energy, invincible. We rule the fate that can overtake the weak. We need not succumb. Shambhala in us, hierarchy in us, the monad in us, the I coming forth and ruling within us. I, the greater I, come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. May we learn to rule from the jewel in the lotus. May the power descend. May the power pour through the group. May the group empower all it touches. We see the alignment. We imagine it from the center of the one about whom naught may be said, at the heart of the Pleiades, through the great chakric constellations, through the 12-petaled lotus of the great supercosmic Lord, the one about whom naught may be said, his crown center, in which Aries holds its place with all the other 11, through the cosmic logos of our local Syrian system, and through our solar logos and his sun, the blue logos, and through the planets Uranus, Mercury, and Mars, and into Shambhala, and into every monad, and the 7 great groups of monads upon the monadic plane, and through the Christ and his hierarchy and all egoic groups on triadal and higher mental levels, and into each of us as a soul, working through our environment, and into our spiritualized personality and the spiritualized group personality, and through every lunar vehicle and through every chakra. The great power pours. We pause in this great alignment. Imbued by all of these energies, at least imaginatively, but we should be feeling something, and we look out as a group into the world. How can we help? How can we serve? Where are these energies needed? What problem of humanity specifically needs our attention now, in this time of potential war and needed peace? And filled and empowered with this alignment, we, the group, a group of many, but only one of many groups, we will direct according to our collective imagination, according to the problem we may conceive, a great beam of Aretian energy carrying all of these subsidiary energies, rays, planets, directed towards that which must be improved and solved. And we will do so on the red note of Aries, the long Om, seeing the solution to a problem which must be solved. And in this alignment, and in the presence of the imagined presence of the Great Ones, we will together sound the great invocation. This great invocation for power and light, helping to pour its energies forth into the consciousness and livingness of humanity and the planet. And we will sound the sacred word on the second ray note 3 times at the conclusion. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Thank you, everyone. Remember, the full moon, GMT time, is at 2:43:58 a.m. on the 18th, and for many of us in the United States, it's on the 17th. I will do my best to get this webinar both in the recorded and videoed form to you as soon as possible. We have now solved the problem of the unplayability on some computers, but it takes a long time to convert, so it will convert tonight, and I will send it out to you in the wee hours, first thing. Let us keep our strength. It's a very powerful sign at a very powerful time with powerful planets found in that sign now. We need strength as a group. We cannot fall into futility, either individually or as groups. We must be more powerful than we have ever been for the next 14 years. And then we'll see after that. So, good night, good day, good morning to everyone, and thank you for your work. This will be sent to you, and you can continue it further. Have a very good full moon meditation in just another 22 hours or so. Okay? We'll see you then. Bye-bye.